Well, good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor here. We are back with another three things. This time it's live, so maybe some more things will go wrong during this. Hopefully not, but if they do, I've already spotted something. The lights. There we go. There we go. This is what it's all about live, everybody. This is why the pre-made videos always land a little bit better. How are we doing anyway, everybody? Hope you're all doing fantastically well. A little bit of a boggy-eyed Connor today, a little bit tired, but listen, we're back here discussing Leeds United. Make sure you're checking out all the content over the past couple of days, everybody. We've got loads more to come, including your rumour mill in the next couple of days, as you guys know. We've also got other bits coming up as well. You can check out your Tanaka merch as well. Link in the description below. Make sure you do all of that good stuff. And it's great to see a lot of you guys in the building at this early hour. I know a few of you are just rising as well. So today we're going to be talking about the three things, but also we're going to be getting into a few additional bits as well going into this one. So as I say, everybody, make sure you're slapping a like on the video, and yeah, we'll get into it. Sean's in the building saying Stoke, massive game coming up. Yeah, it feels like it, mate. Really does feel like it. Danny's saying, morning, Connor. Hope you have a good Xmas. Thanks for all you've done this calendar year. Really appreciate that. Danny, Nick's in the building. Hey, Nick. Morning, Connor. Good win yesterday. Now let's sort out the away form. Reese has also said, did anyone else panic when Bamford appeared to come out with the starting 11 for the warm-up? And Rise is not accepting that a draw away at Stoke is a good result. I think these two games are huge for Farke. Interesting, Ryan. Interesting. So everybody, get your three things in the comment section below as well. We do this every weekend. And I want to start primarily with a real positive, Jaden Bogle. I think this guy has been severely underrated by our fan base. And I think just in general, I think a lot of people, for me anyway, it's my personal opinion, aren't really shining enough light on this guy. You know, the amount of sort of glazing, if you will, that like Byram gets for just coming in. And Byram's done well this season, but the amount of sort of praise he gets in comparison to a very consistent Jaden Bogle, a very level-headed Jaden Bogle, a very good attacking force, a very underrated defender, in my opinion, in Jaden Bogle. It's a bit mad. It is a bit mad. Listen, we've all seen the renaissance, the resurgence of Junior Firpo coming back in and doing what he's done, which has been great, but I feel he's been praised a hell of a lot more in comparison to Jaden Bogle, who, listen, yesterday again was just brilliant. And he's almost acting, he just acts like a winger. Like his balls into the box, whether or not they're floated or just drilled from the byline, are just so good. They're so consistent. And that was something that I saw yesterday and wanted to mention. Even the one where the ball was played in, the defender missed it and largely just fizzed it wide. It's such a good ball into the box. You know, the cutbacks from the byline, he's much better than that, in my opinion, than Firpo, because he beats the first man. I think Firpo a lot of the time hits the byline and hits the first man. I think Jaden's just got such a variety in his passing when he gets forward, and it's so impressive. I think when you look at him defensively as well, I think he seems a lot more, maybe a lot more aggressive than he was previously. But I'm really, really impressed with him. I have to say, really, really impressed with him. I think the £5 million move has been exceptional for Leeds. I think it's thoroughly worked. And yeah, I think he's probably been one of the best signings we've made this season, along with Tanaka and probably Joe Rothwell, even though he's not a permanent signing. But really happy with his development. And there was a couple of shaky games, but I think, you know, there's people quoting the away games, of which maybe he's been a little bit shaky. But I've heard a few things like, you know, 4 or 5 or 6 games, he took his time to get into it. I just completely disagree with that. I think Millwall, he wasn't great. Blackburn, he definitely wasn't great. But Sunderland, Norwich, West Brom, Bristol City, I think he was good. Swansea, I think he was good. I don't think there's been many games of which, Preston in particular, you know, very good in that game. I don't think there's been many games of which I'm looking at him. And even when our backs have been up against the wall, I don't think he's been poor. Of course, you've had your mid games and stuff like that, but you look at the actual team away from home in general, they've all been, let's be honest, everybody, crap away from home. In comparison to our home form, it's been poor, hasn't it? It's not been great. So, yeah, really happy with his development. And for £5 million, I think it's one of those, again, where Leeds have done a really good bit of recruitment. Get your thoughts in on that. Get your thoughts in on that one. Luke's in the building. Hi, Luke. Saw you on Twitter as well, mate. Bogle class. Bogle was decent, has been fairly consistent. Solomon's starting to show the quality he has as Brendan. Equals Russ goals for last season. Reese says, Solomon, the best performer yesterday for me. Hope we see him get better and better. Feel like Bogle doesn't get the credit when he plays well due to other defensive performance seen from him. Chris in the building. Hi, Chris. Good morning, Connor. Good result for us yesterday. The next 3 games are massive. Agree. Yeah, Reese, Luke, completely agree with what you're saying, lads. I really do. I think you bang on the money there. But yeah, just I think the big thing yesterday was that I normally praise his defensive side because I think sometimes it gets overlooked. But I think the big thing yesterday has to be in just getting to the byline and his variation in crosses, which I think was causing Oxford so many problems. And he's a right winger. You've got a right winger there, really, who doubles up when we have a right winger. And defensively, I just think he's very aggressive. He's tenacious. And look, there's been times where he's had a few blips, of course, but I think it is overblown with some fans on how rubbish he is. He's definitely not rubbish. Far from it. Okay, everyone. So 9 games. 9 games at home now. 24 goals and 2 conceded. That is incredible. It's absolutely staggering away form. And I almost think that right now we're looking better at home than we did last season in terms of just complete performances and just dominance. Like the balance across the side is good. He's able to rotate. Sometimes do I think he rotates well? No. But a lot of the time he has rotated well. Leeds' his goals from substitutions has been exceptionally good. Now, do you base that on individual quality? There's a conversation there. And look, just the ridiculous quality coming off the bench against certain teams at certain times in certain states. There's a conversation there. But the manager does have to make changes. And I think right now what we're seeing is a real good balance within the squad. You're seeing, once again, a variance. You're seeing Nonto and Ramazani taken out yesterday and Leeds winning the game 4-0. You're seeing Leeds go 3-0 up and then bringing Nonto, Ramazani and Schmidt on. Or Gilavogi, whatever it was. It's just a bit silly, isn't it? It's just a bit silly. And this is why, we're looking at it right now. And I think we're sort of looking at the the balance of the division as well at the minute and how it's changing. And it's not really at the minute, is it? We're kind of seeing the 4 break away. We're going to get onto Blackburn in just a little bit, but the 4 breaking away. But I think it's just that consistency away from home. But the home record, let's talk about it and how extraordinarily good it is. It's just amazing. It's an amazing home record. 24 goals and 2 conceded. It's a staggering home form of which, would compare with probably the top teams in Europe. So once again, Leeds are showing that at home, it's pretty much it's nigh on at this level, impossible to come and beat Leeds. Nigh on anyway at this moment in time. But yeah, I think as Ryan said there, you match the away form just a little bit. You get that away form up incrementally by 20%, and you're flying. You're top of the division. We've won 3 games away from home all season with 3 points behind Sheffield United with a better goal difference. Do you know what I mean? And they've got a very good away form and a very decent home form. I get there was 2 points deducted, but you've got to look at Burnley there as well, who, are a point behind us and have got a better away form than us, best away form in the division, but their home form's 5th in the charts. But for Leeds to still be where they are with 3 away wins all season, it's very impressive. Very impressive. Risa said, do you see the Stoke highlights? Mr. Penn should have had another one. Somehow lost to 10 men. If this isn't an omen that they're about to beat us 1-0, I'll eat my hat. Mike says, nothing matters but away form now. Jason says, has your opinion on Solomon changed at all? We'll get into that in a minute, mate. Rice says it's silly, and that's why the away form is baffling. Luke says, well, the bench is a cheat code. And morning, everybody. James in the building. Hi, Jamie, one of the Patreons. I hope you have a great Christmas. Job done in regards to yesterday. Now on to bigger tests in Stoke and Derby. Agree, mate. Jace, let's get on to your comment, mate, which is another point in the video that I wanted to make. It's kind of a 3 things, but a bonus this time because I'm including probably 2 or 3 more things. It's going to be Solomon. And look, I think the big thing with Manor Solomon was, for me, at the beginning of the season, it wasn't good enough for what we were getting. We've paid a lot of money. That's just facts for this guy. It's coming on a loan signing. We've already made mistakes when it's come to Tottenham in terms of that fee and not been able to really sort of ignite a player's loan spell in Jed Spence last season when we paid an above 1 million loan fee and we barely saw him, which was just disastrous. But especially in a season, by the way, of which we were financially, it was a bit all over the place with the amount of players leaving. But what we've seen now is Manor Solomon come in, and I have to be honest that I was a little bit well, what's he going to bring here? You know, I didn't look at it and think it was really going to add anything to the side. I thought he's injury prone. And this is a massive problem for me. You guys know, as one leaders, this is a stickling point for me. If you're injury prone, I can't be doing with it as a signing because trends and patterns are a thing. And the quantitative representation when you're looking at Jaden Bogle was the fact that he didn't get enough minutes, and he's not had enough minutes. It's not, sorry, Manor Solomon, is that he's not had enough minutes in the last 5 years. It's not good enough for a team to be spending 50, 60 grand on him a week. However, what I will say, in the past 3 or 4 games, he's really impressed me. Now, we've come on here and said this most times, really, but in the Preston game, he was the most dangerous, I thought, when he came onto the pitch of really changing the game round for Leeds United. I think in pockets, especially in the Derby game, he's come on and he's looked, well, I think he might have started the Derby game, actually. But in all the spouts, basically, generally, when he's been on and when he's been impacting the game from the bench, the close control's been excellent. His balance has been good. He's varied his wing play, which has been something which was really important to me. You guys know that it was doing my head in that he wasn't going down the left. It becomes so predictable and you become so compact and narrow as an attacking unit if you're just constantly inverting. And basically, it crowds out Piroe as well, because Piroe's naturally dropping deep and his movement's not the quickest. So you've got about 5 or 6 players within about a 10-yard radius. And, you know, I think with what you naturally do was when you invert and it's compact, it's easier for the opposition to defend against. The danger for me in football is when you've got width, and when you've got good wingers and width, and attacking wingers and attacking fullbacks, the overloads, the underlaps, the overlaps, I should say, they're the most dangerous things. That's how you pick teams apart. That's why City was so strong for so long. Getting to that byline, having those little combinations and whipping the ball into the striker or drilling the ball into the striker. Now, as I've mentioned previously with Firpo and Bogle, we've got those players who can get to the byline. But it is important when you've got wingers that the wingers are able to vary the play. And I think what I really love about Solomon is at the minute, as well as his weight of pass. What annoyed me to start off with him is his weight of pass was all wrong. You know, his accuracy when he was looking for that overlap, he'd go out of play. It was too short. It'd get intercepted. There's a lot of people who would say it was rusty. And there's a fair point to that. It probably was quite rusty. But I have to say, his close control at the minute, his decisions are the big thing. His decisions are the big thing. And I was really, really happy for him that I think he got a goal and 2 assists yesterday. Really nice finish with his left foot as well. Drilling it down the goalkeeper's throat, really. Pause. And yeah, I thought excellent yesterday. And yeah, it's what we wanted from Solomon. It was annoying that he came in, and I know what your question is, Jason. Has it changed a lot? My opinion. Well, yeah, he has, and that's what I wanted him to do. Like, I think it's a bit of a weird thing, Jace. I think a lot of people come on here and they say to YouTubers, if they put the head above the parapet, there's certain YouTubers out there who'll just toe the party line and won't say a thing. But on here we're quite vocal with what we think, and I've always prided people who come on the channel to be like that as well. Just express yourself, not only contributors but commenters like yourself. People who come on and express their feelings, and whatever the opinion, I'll come on and get your opinion up. I might disagree with it, but football is subjective. But I wouldn't say I was ever wrong about him. I need to see a bit of a span of it. But at this moment in time, he's really impressed me. What I will say is I think I was wrong about maybe him getting to this level and being able to stay there. I thought there was genuine potential he could be sent back in January. With where we're heading with him, I thought there's potentially it could have been a Jed Spence scenario. But he's been very good. Very, very good. And I'm very happy with him, I have to say. Jay says again, I think he's preparing to use Schmidt more for verbal leaving. One problem is that most teams have to score one against us. I agree, mate. Nigel's in the building. Hi, Nige. Morning, Connor. Trust you and the family to have a great Xmas and back to it Boxing Day evening. Here's the 3 points at Stoke. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. And what I'll say is, everybody, I didn't say thank you to some people who put donations in at the end of the video yesterday. Shout out to John, shout out to Steve, and shout out to Carlos. Shout out to all of you guys. And listen, any of the super chats are very, very much appreciated, and they all go to the running of the channel. So thank you so much, and Merry Christmas to you all. Rai says, as good as Solomon, Aaronson, and James are, I think Ramazani should be a starter. Yeah, 100%, mate. Morning, Connor. Still scared of finishing third. Swagger says, Bamford didn't even come out at half time. You think he's just lost interest, knowing he's not needed, or he's actually on the way out? Yeah, and there's still fans calling for him, mate. There's still fans calling for him, and we'll get into that. Look, I think another big thing was Ampadu getting 90 minutes. Now, does Ethan start at centre-back? No way. When Strauch's fit. Not for me anyway. You guys might think a little bit differently, but he does not start there. I said at the start of the video what's probably going to happen yesterday at the start of the watch-along was we were probably going to win the game comfortably. And because we get a clean sheet, presumably now Ampadu is the best centre-back since sliced bread and Strauch's not good enough. Because naturally people have the favourites, and I understand that, but Strauch's numbers have been very good this season. The problem with Pascal is, I think look, there's two problems, I think, fundamentally. I think the problem with him is that he gets injured quite a bit during seasons, which is slightly problematic for Leeds United. And we're going to get into some transfer rumours tomorrow on the rumour mill, of which could perk ears up a little bit. But I think fundamentally the problem with him at this moment in time is him stepping out of play as the centre-back. We saw it against Preston. We've seen it against Blackburn. When the striker has the ball, he steps out. And if Rodon's not covering just in behind, Leeds are very, very vulnerable. Very, very vulnerable. So he's been doing that in the last couple of games. But overall, Strauch's been excellent. Absolutely excellent this season. The best centre-back, in my opinion, in the division. But he's just, for some reason, Leeds fans just haven't warmed to him. I don't know why that is. The majority of Leeds fans, anyway. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the lack of maybe personality, character on the pitch. Obviously, Ampadu's naturally going to resonate with the Leeds fans a little bit more because of his passion and all that sort of stuff. I know Strauch's a little bit demure, a little bit meek, a little bit mild, but, and that's what I'd like a little bit more from him, to have a little bit more of the Ampadu's in terms of the aggression as a centre-back. But overall, Pascal just does it sort of quietly. He's a very, very good distributor. I think in set pieces is our most dangerous option going forward. But I also think his overall play at championship level is very good. It's very, very good for me. So yeah, interesting. The Amps has got 90 minutes under his belt, and that was extremely positive yesterday. I was a little bit worried that he was going to go off injured. Let's hope as well that Joe's all right. Because it was either a dead leg, or for me, it looked like he'd done something to his quad. He consistently kept rubbing the front side of his leg, and he was moving a little bit gingerly. So let's hope he's okay. That's the one that I'm looking at right now. But worst case scenario, at least Ampadu is there to potentially cover. Of how, because I mentioned James DeBio playing in that Oxford game, and I think that'd have been fine because they didn't really offer that much, and he's highly rated. But up against Stoke City away from home, you kind of want our best players in there, don't you? You want our best players in there for that contest. But really good that Ampadu's got 90 minutes. Okay, I wanted to touch on Piroe. So a lot of people, we've had that conversation about Bamford, haven't we? Just generally anyway, about should he be featuring, should he not be featuring? It's another game yesterday, and it's one of which I'd have expected him. He got an assist, which was excellent. Assisted Solomon, didn't he? It's not enough, though, at the minute, is it? It's not. It doesn't feel like enough from him. For me, anyway. And that, looks why I call for Matteo a lot. I think the stats are very similar right now, but you're probably looking at, obviously, Piroe with more goals. A lot of you guys have been calling for Bamford to start. I mean, let me know what you think in the comment section below. What would you be doing right now? But it's probably another indication of why Joel Piroe, or maybe Leeds United, are potentially looking at a striker in January, if they're not going to go with Joseph, It's just getting to a point now where I'm sort of looking at the games, and let's have a quick look at the Joel Piroe, not performances as such, but last couple of games. So the last couple of games, obviously, we've had Derby, we've had Borough, Preston, and Oxford. And now I think it is, and he gets a couple of assists, of course he does. But, we keep getting told that that's not enough for a striker, which is fine. But that needs to be levelled at everyone, doesn't it? So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's 14 games now, and 3 goals. So I think statistically we've kind of got to this point right now where genuinely his best performances are off the bench. And as much as that might sort of upset the general public in terms of you got to start him, don't start Joseph, that's fine. But statistically now it's pretty obvious that goal-wise and impact-wise, because that was always thrown at it, wasn't it? It was the fact that he's scoring more goals. But now I'm looking at it, and I'm the general plays coming to the fore a little bit more because he's not scoring goals. You know, so is it a problem right now? No. I mean, Leeds have scored 4 goals. It's not a problem. Of course, it's not a problem. If I'm seeing him and Brendan, who we're going to get onto in a little bit, if I'm seeing him and Brendan start at Stoke City in another away game, of which I think they've started against, is it Millwall now? Millwall, Preston, Blackburn. I think they've been the last 4. Swansea's been in there as well. Away from home. If I'm seeing that again, I'm a little bit worried. I have to say, Stoke's going to be a very similar game to Blackburn. A very similar game probably to Millwall in terms of just how they're going to set up. Might be different style-wise, but I think how they're going to set up is going to be quite similar. I think doing that's going to be a bit of a risk. A bit of a risk. I think Piroe's struggling at the minute. And it's like kind of what we've all said on this channel. He struggles, I feel, when Leeds are building up. I think he's not... The movement's not sharp enough. The acceleration's not there. I think he's just a little bit lethargic on the ball. And he doesn't do enough for me to justify Joseph not starting. But if Leeds are looking to do something in January, I know there's been rumours of Evan Ferguson. I know there has been rumours of that. Look, we've spoken about that on the channel as well. And maybe it's not the fact that we go and get Evan Ferguson, but it's the fact that we're actually looking at a striker, you know? Maybe that's something that Leeds are going to be doing now. Who knows? Hi, Paul. Chris says, I love Joseph and had him for the Golden Boot. But he hasn't made the impact he needed to when he's had the chances. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Rice says, Piroe's lack of pace lets him down. Dan has said as well, Piroe's not a starter, better off the bench. We might as well play with a false 9. Ian's in the building. Morning. Anyone else having trouble with the Leeds United app or just me? Keeps closing on my phone. Let everybody let Ian know. Phil's in the building. Hi, Connor, mate. Just smash a like for you guys if you would. That'd be incredible. Thank you so much. Good morning, Elmi. How you doing, mate? How's everything going? Rai says, would you rather a striker or a 10 in Jan? A 10 for me, mate. A 10 all day, every day, twice on a Sunday. Just purely because I think I like Brendan. I love Brendan. I maybe not love him. But I like him, obviously. I think there's sometimes a bit of a misconception on here that we don't like Brendan, because apparently that's what happens when you constructively criticise someone. Brendan was good yesterday. I thought in that second half he was excellent. First half, not great, but second half I thought he was excellent. Really, really, really good. Much better. I think the caveat with me, everybody, is I'm expecting Brendan to be good against Oxford. I'm just expecting it. It should be. Piroe, Brendan, some of the ones that maybe we've been a little bit critical of on the channel, I'm expecting them to be good against that woeful Oxford side. Managerless Oxford. But I think the good thing about him last night is he got an assist, he got a goal, Brendan, and hopefully that G's him on a little bit, and hopefully that improves a few bits. But yes, a number 10 for me. I think it's the technical ability of a number 10, a good number 10 as well. I'm not just saying Aaronson is now my option for the number 10 because he's putting a good performance against Oxford. I like Brendan, of course I do, but I think there's a higher level of which we can go to, of which we've gone to in our recent history with number 10s in Rutter and Pablo Hernandez. Yeah, look, for me, there's more opportunities and more chance there. Number 10 can really bring more to this side. Another positive that I want to talk about is last season, everybody. Merry Christmas on this one. We were 10 points behind Ipswich and 13 behind Leicester, which is good, isn't it? It's good news. Another big thing yesterday as well is Blackburn's streak was over. They lost to Millwall, which I think was actually really important. They were just not conceding goals. They were building a little bit ahead of steam. And I remember the whole thing with Ipswich, they'll fall off. They've not got the squad depth for it. Look, Blackburn have got 14, 15 decent squad players, very decent squad players. And John Eustace is clearly a good manager. So I think it was really important that they sort of dropped off yesterday because they were building a little bit ahead of steam. And now there's a little bit of movement when it comes to that front four and the rest of the pack, which is good. Obviously, they've got a game in hand, but I think it's really important that you sort of break away. That you break away from that. And if you break away from that, excellent stuff. Okay. Andy Johnson in the building. Prove the statue. Joseph needs to start again at Stoke. Amps in midfield with Tanaka and Rothwell. Give Aaronson a rest, yeah. I thought Rothwell was exceptional again yesterday. I thought at 1-0 it was really important because he was the one driving forward. I thought at 1-0 when they had sort of a couple of chances off the whim, you were thinking, flipping out, what's going on here? Like, we're the dominant team, but they're having a few chances here. I genuinely believe Rothwell was the instigator for a lot of things yesterday. His dynamism, his runs through the midfield, and he's just massive. He's just a massive player for us. He's a huge, huge player for us, and I love him. I think what he's done with this midfield, I think him being involved now is fantastic. And I'm struggling to see many bad games from Joe. Yesterday, again, I thought he was probably the better midfielder out of him and Tanaka. And him driving Leeds forward, there was an argument yesterday for me that he was man of the match. I thought he was excellent. Really, really good yesterday. Dale's in the building. Morning, Connor. First live in forever. Good performance, but opponents very poor. Thanks, Dale. Good to see you, mate. I know when we go live at different points, it's better for different people, especially Sunday mornings, probably a lot easier, isn't it? A lot of you guys have got work during the week, so you can't make the 10 o'clock lives on a morning and stuff. So I completely understand that. But yeah, the Blackburn streak been big, and us being 10 points in range of the top two now is really big as well, with us really struggling at this point last season when it came to that top two firing ahead. But yeah, Rothwell, absolutely key in my opinion. Wayne says, we have plenty of strikers that can play 10. We need an out-and-out striker. And Elmi said, I'm concerned about Leeds United's away form. I think the big thing is, mate, it's just with our away form, if we can just, as I keep saying, incrementally increase it. And incrementally increase it. If we can incrementally get it better by 20%, 15, 20%, and we can get, let's say, how many games have we had away? Is it 10 away games? 10 away games, and we've got 3 wins. If you have another 10 away games and you get 6 wins, it's not perfect. It's not perfect whatsoever, but the improvement is drastic. It's absolutely drastic. Even if you don't need a 50% improvement, even if in the next 10 games you have 5 wins out of 10, it's going to be massive, and it's going to show on the table, because I do expect our home form to continue for a big period of time. The biggest home game we've got coming up is Blackburn. That's going to be really, really tough, because they did us at Ellen Road. Eustace has done us 3 times anyway. Has done us and Farker 3 times. So that's a big away game. But the next 2 guys, Stoke City and Derby, are huge games for Leeds United. Derby good at home, and Stoke a natural championship problem at home. So I think these are the big things that we need to be looking at now. Let's just look at the next 2. I think we all kind of were looking past Oxford in a sort of arrogant, but look, we know the issues sort of way. But the next 2 are huge. Really, really big. But listen, it's been 30 minutes from me. Shout out to all of you in the building. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. We're going to be live again very soon. We're going to be doing the room mill tomorrow. If you want me to be live for that, I can do that. We'll be getting either a video out for 10 o'clock or I'll be live for 10 o'clock. But I really appreciate you guys all being in around. Spartan, we've spoken about that, mate. Just go watch it on the video. Really appreciate that. But guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Leeds top 2 for Christmas. And I'll be back on live very, very soon. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Cheers.